Okay, good morning all, and my voice is audible to all of you. Yes, it's audible. Okay. Good morning, Prashanjit sir. Good morning. Good morning, all the
Ma'am.
students.
And
Good
thank you
morning.
for allowing me and
No, it's okay.
letting me
Thank
be
you.
a part of this. Thank you so much.
Of course, of course, sir. Why not? I'm switching off my microphone for some work. Okay, you people just wait here. Okay, 5 minutes more. After that, till then, just wait a bit. Okay, once more. Good morning to all of you. My voice is audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Fine, just wait a bit. Good morning, Professor Bhaduri.
Good morning, Dr. Banerjee Ghosh. How are you?
Yes, sir, I'm fine. And what about you, sir? It's okay? Everything fine?
All
After a
good.
long
Thank
time.
you.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So we can start, but just a bit. I'm going to wait because our principal sir is here to join the meeting.
Good morning, Professor Bhaduri.
Just
This
for
is
from our
Prashanjit.
school, all the participants.
Good morning, Professor Bhaduri. This is Prashanjit Shah here.
I'm texting,
I am
sir.
also.
Okay. It's about to 10. That will come in any moment. And today we are going to discuss, especially Professor Bhaduri is there to enlighten us regarding the various aspects in the subject biology. After completion of your 12th, then all of you are thinking about your future, in what way you are going to move. And as a student, also we faced this time. So he's there to enlighten us. Just 10, I'm going to start it. So good morning once more. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Already
Professor Bhaduri already joined,
okay, thank you so much.
and
Good
I am
morning,
going
sir.
to
Welcome, sir.
and I'm going to start the meeting. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
So Myself, Dr. Vidita.
Already.
Yes.
Now, I would like to say that already good number of students already joined.
Yes, yes. More will come. So once more, good morning, all of you, and myself, Vidita Banerjee Ghosh from Satish Chandra Memorial School is feeling honored by getting the opportunity to introduce renowned scientists from IISER Kolkata, Professor Purnoshlok Bhaduri. Today he is among us to discuss about the future prospects of bio. So here, Bhaduri. Professor Bhaduri did his MSc from Heriot-Watt University and his PhD from Plymouth Marine Laboratory, University of Plymouth in the year 2005. After that, he joined as scientist in Plymouth Marine Application. Then he done his postdoc from Princeton University. In 2008, he joined in Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun, and after that, he joined in IISER as Professor Purnoshlok Bhaduri. His research interest specially focused in the biological system complexity, especially the mangrove ecosystem. The role of environmental factors, including nutrients, including many photosynthetic microbial eukaryotes, those things actually his research of interest. Today he is here to talk about, as you have already received the flyers, the career in interdisciplinary biology. Means not only biology, it's related to very much other science subjects. So first, biology as the career option. Secondly, as a non-bio student, whether we can relate or whether we can come back to bio field. And also the career in the basic science. So Professor Bhaduri, please enlighten us with your valuable words. Thank you.
Thank you, Vidita. Thank you very much. Good morning, Principal Sir. Great to see you.
Good morning, sir. After a long gap.
Yes. Good morning, dear students. Good morning, friends and colleagues. I think I welcome you all in this webinar. It's a great opportunity for me to discuss with you, and I congratulate the principal sir, Vidita, and colleagues in Satish Chandra Memorial School for organizing this webinar. I know there is a series of this webinar that is happening, and it's really commendable. Dear students, we are living in a COVID world, and this is the reality. This pandemic is going to continue, and until and unless there is a robust mechanism to control the pandemic, we have to live with lot of boundaries in place. But that should not stop us or inhibit us to pursue our dreams. The dream that you have dreamed when you were in 9th grade or 10th grade, and now that you are in 11th and 12th grade, that dream has to be pursued. The aim should be very focused, and that aim cannot be overdriven by the pandemic. So my fellow students, my request to all of you is not to worry about the pandemic. Please maintain safety and pursue the dream that you have decided to walk through. Now, many of you in this webinar are probably or in all likelihood going to sit in many competitive exams. So I suspect many of you are going to sit in the engineering exams and the medical exams. It is fantastic if you crack those exams. There's no doubt about it. But nothing will be lost if you don't crack those exams. The journey doesn't end there. The journey begins from that point. So if you have cracked, wonderful, you can pursue your dreams, pursue the journey. If you haven't cracked, you can still pursue the dreams that you have dreamt about. Let me put this into a perspective. Suppose you have decided or you have this dream to become a doctor and to serve the society, to treat the patients, to treat the needy who are suffering from different types of diseases. And you sat for the medical exam and you did not crack the exam. You need not be worried at all. There are opportunities and ways to actually serve the needy people, the people who are suffering from diseases, by building your career in the field of biomedical science. And at some point of time, we will see that you will be working or you will be leading a team where many doctors are there who are working with you, who are going to treat or who are going to address challenging health problems of this century under your leadership. And that is what the beauty is of pursuing dreams. There will be challenges, and each of those challenges should not be thought as a barrier, but we have to scale the challenge and then overcome the challenge. I come from a background where I also dreamt of studying medical sciences. I got chance to study medical sciences. I declined to study medical sciences. That was my choice. But the journey then began that after I've declined, if I want to pursue this dream that I have dreamt about, I need to go forward and excel in that area. And the irony is, there is no end to the process of excelling. There is no scaling of that. Good has no end. And therefore, what happens is you keep on pursuing that dream. Today in this webinar, I'm going to highlight a couple of important aspects. First one is about biology as a profession. Second is, suppose you are unable to pursue basic sciences, but you can pursue subjects. At some point of time, those subjects can be linked with basic sciences and you can come back to basic sciences. And third is, how can you build your career in basic science? Let me give you a very straightforward example. Suppose I open a business enterprise, a shop, let's say. Now, it is my responsibility at what time I want to open the shop, at what time I want to close the shop, and how I communicate with my customers who are coming to the shop to purchase products. The more amount of time I invest in the shop, in the products, in stocking of the products, in communicating with the customers, the more prosperity will result in the business that I have set up. So you can see one thing very clearly in this example is you have to give time. Time you have to spend, and the more amount of time you spend, the more prosperous is going to be at the crossroads or down the line. Besides engineering and medical, the opportunities are enormous. I want to highlight, we do not call engineering and medical as just a separate entity, but it is part of the science. That's why we call engineering science and medical science. So all are components of the same science. The basic science have give rise to all these new branches or new areas. We all think about, when you talk about basic science, physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics. But how many of you have heard of a subject or a domain known as earth science or geology? Do you know that geology is also part of the basic science? To pursue geology, or to study geological sciences, you have to be equally good in physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology. How many of you have heard about the subject computer science? How many of you have heard about the subject biochemistry? We always talk about botany, zoology, physiology, but we don't talk about many of these new domains that have, been started long time ago and that have been, undergoing or that have been established as a very important pillar of basic sciences. So I think the opportunities in all these subjects are enormous. I will give you some examples to convince you that pursuing a career in basic science is as good as pursuing a career in engineering science or in medical sciences. Please remember, when I had the first opportunity to interact with you, I made a remark that if you study basic science, then government of India is going to support you pursuing the basic science. And one fine example of this is the Inspire scheme of the government of India. Okay, if you have enrolled into a bachelor's degree program in physics, chemistry, biology, math, statistics, or in geological sciences or in computer sciences, you are eligible to apply for Inspire scholarship. This scholarship is going to support you and your studies for 3 years. Well, the point is, now that we are at the crossroad, probably uh, bachelor degree is going to become 4 years. So it will be either 2 years or 3 years, or if not 4 years. You will be funded by the government of India to pursue the dream. Now, please understand, when you are getting a scholarship, that scholarship is not a small, monetarily, it's not a small thing, but it is a recognition that you are pursuing basic sciences and the country supports you and the country wants you to pursue basic sciences. When you take up this scholarship, you also get an opportunity to visit different institutions in this country. You can undertake research internship in different leading institutions in this country, so that you can broaden your knowledge, broaden your horizon about the huge scope that basic sciences offer. So imagine 3 years or 4 years of your bachelor's degree, you have this independent fellowship that brings you additional strength and gives you the momentum to continue with your bachelor's degree. Once you have completed the bachelor's degree, I think you have just opened that box which has the wealth in it. What is the wealth? The wealth is the knowledge. You can then pursue your dream in the direction that you want to go forward. Suppose many of you might be interested to study physics. Okay, you don't necessarily have to do your MSc in physics anymore. Okay, now there are so many subjects are there within the broad domain of physics in post graduation, that you can pursue those domains. So for example, you can end up pursuing a program called integrated PhD. That means after you have completed your BSc, you get into a program where you do your MSc and your PhD together. And you must be wondering, what is the advantage of doing that? Well, the advantage of doing that is the total number of years that will take to pursue the MSc and the PhD separately is usually 7 years. Because MSc is usually for 2 years and PhD is usually for 5 years. But integrated PhD is usually for 5 years. That means you finish your MSc plus PhD in 5 years. And what is so special about it? The specialty about it is from day one of your masters, you are pursuing the subject that you are interested in or the domain that you are interested in. Suppose as a physicist, you have an interest in condensed matter physics, in optics, in quantum physics. You can pursue that particular area in the integrated PhD program. In India, several institutions offer integrated PhD. Just to give you an example, the Indian Institute of Technologies, so Kharagpur, Kanpur, Bombay, Delhi, Madras, all offer integrated PhD. The institution that I represent, ISER, ISERs are 7 of them are there. All 7 of them offer integrated PhD. Even many of the universities of this country offer integrated PhD. For example, University of Hyderabad offers integrated PhD. Madurai Kamraj University, which is located in the state of Tamil Nadu, offers integrated PhD. Even institutions like Bose Institute in Calcutta and Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science, just opposite Jadavpur University, they also offer integrated PhD. And the entire duration of your integrated PhD, you get a scholarship to pursue your dreams. And the beauty is every day you interact with the leading scientists, they motivate you, they help you to pursue the research, the subject, the domains that you are interested in. So this is one nice example. Now let's take an example where you have not gotten the Inspire scholarship, but you have enrolled into a degree program in any of the colleges, let's say in West Bengal. The question might be coming to your mind that would I be able to interact with these leading scientists? Would I be able to pursue the domains that I am interested in? Yes, you certainly can. And the best example of that is every year in the summer, the government of India actually runs a program which is called a summer research program. And it is being centrally administered by Indian Academy of Sciences. What happens is you get an opportunity to apply to work with some scientist or some faculty members in any institution of your choice in this country for 2 to 3 months, and during that time you get a fellowship to actually pursue the summer internship. The summer internship is a fantastic opportunity to broaden your idea, to strengthen the concepts and the knowledge of basic sciences that you have just started to pursue as a first year or as a second year bachelor's student. Besides, many institutions, numerous institutions in this country offer summer research program independently, and they offer fellowship. So for example, the institution that I represent, ISER Kolkata, it offers summer research program, and the summer research program is open to students so that they can come down and pursue, and or they can get an exposure how basic science is done, how research in basic science is done. And the beauty is you get to interact with lot of bright minds, a lot of the senior people, and you also get a scholarship to interact. Many times what happens is, you have some exams or something crops up, and it may happen that you may not be able to pursue the summer research program. There is a solution for that also. Many institutions in this country run dedicated program for 2 weeks or for 3 weeks or for a week, giving opportunity to young minds such as researchers and students like you who are at the bachelor's level to visit institutions of your choice and spend a week there and get to see how teaching and research in basic science happen. Do you know, for example, Nowadays, we don't anymore say that I want to do a degree in botany or a degree in zoology, for example, in biology, or a degree in physiology. The opportunities are enormous. You can do degree in microbiology, you can do a degree in biochemistry, you can do a degree in aquaculture or fishery science. You can do a degree in biomedical science. You can do a degree in genetic engineering. You can do a degree in genetics. So you can do a degree in biophysics. So actually you can see that the classical biology domains of botany, zoology, physiology is being dispersed out, and new domains have cropped up, and these domains are well established and they offer equal opportunities, if not more. And within West Bengal, there are numerous institutions, numerous colleges which offer many of the specialized courses that falls under the domain of the basic sciences. Now, let's take an example here. Let's say that you are not interested to pursue research. Okay, you want to do your degree and then you want to apply for a job. Now, obviously, with a bachelor's degree, you want to be connected with the subject that you have studied at the bachelor's degree, and you also want to get a job so that you can support yourself or you can support your family or for any other reason. Well, for that also, there are number of programs are there in this country. For example, the Department of Biotechnology, Government of India runs a dedicated program where students can be placed with leading industries. For example, if it is in the domain of life science, leading industries can be linked with, and the students get a chance to do internship. Okay, internship. And what is this internship? Internship is an opportunity for the students to get to know about what that organization or that company has to offer, how that student can contribute to the development of that organization or to that company. And if that organization or that company finds that student, that freshly graduated student, to have huge potential, then he or she is being offered a job. So you can see these new domains and or new ways of opportunity to take up jobs are appearing if you pursue basic science. I want to point out, if you have done your master's degree in basic sciences, the opportunities are actually much more. Now, let me put it in a slightly different way. You have a mind which lets you think, lets you develop new ideas. Okay, so you are essentially an entrepreneur in making. You know that this country offers fantastic schemes supported by the government to pursue your dream as an entrepreneur. And the idea is you have a minimum degree, which is, let's say, bachelor's degree in any branch of basic science, and you have an idea. You can present that idea in an appropriate forum. So there are schemes out there where you can present it. And if your idea is feasible, that means if the government thinks that yes, this idea has potential, then you can get support from the government to actually pursue that idea. And the beauty is that financial support that you get, there is no clause, no strings attached to it. If the idea materializes, fantastic. If the idea does not materialize, it can happen. We again go back to the drawing board. So there is a scope, there are opportunities to pursue your dream, your ideas in the area of basic science by becoming an entrepreneur, and the government supports it. And imagine if that idea is feasible and you can show that the feasibility of the idea is there in course of time. Obviously, government has further schemes to support it, which can lead to establishment of new companies. The best example we are seeing now in this COVID world. we are seeing young minds with new bright ideas are pursuing their dreams as an entrepreneur, and many of these ideas have become materialized or have been materialized because of support from government of India. And in all the cases, almost all the cases, it has been found that the entrepreneurs are from a background of basic sciences. Okay, so I think the point is clear that there is huge opportunity. Now let's come to uh, slightly more advanced scale. You have done your masters, and let's say you want to pursue research. Well, obviously research means you may want to do a PhD, for example. In this country there are numerous institutions where PhD is being offered, and you can pursue PhD. Obviously many cases you have to pursue PhD, you have to qualify some national exams so that you can be supported with a fellowship. But there are also numerous cases where institutions, leading institutions in this country, offer fellowship scholarships to pursue the PhD, and that PhD research, that fellowship is offered for 5 years of your PhD research. Now let's say after masters in basic science, you don't want to pursue PhD, you want to get a job. There are opportunities. Like the COVID has opened up new doors of opportunities. Okay, now new spin-offs or new industries are coming up, new ideas are being commercialized, and therefore I see that the prospects are bright and there is huge opportunities there in years to come. Obviously, there are scopes to pursue, to apply for jobs in different organizations. I can give a couple of examples. There are big life science related institutes, related industries and organizations are there. A lot of big pharmaceutical divisions are there. For example, many of you have heard about a company called ITC. ITC. They have a huge division on life sciences. Tata has a huge division on life sciences where they take freshly graduated, or graduated in the sense who have completed their masters, and they get an opportunity to join as junior scientist and work in those company and help pursue dreams and ideas. So actually joining those companies, when you get the opportunity, you can also pursue the dreams that you have in mind. Besides that, you want to do an independent, independent way of thinking, and you want to become an entrepreneur, you can also approach non-government agencies, schemes where you will be supported by money from capitalists, who gives the money, so that you can pursue the dream. Obviously their time frame will be set up, there will be some clauses, and obviously investment will be made when the investors see that there are ideas are there. Now I want to go into the next two topics very quickly, obviously, which is very important. Non-biology to biology has been mentioned, and that's very important. Why? Let's take an example. You are studying in your 12th grade science, or let's say you're studying non-science subject, but you have an interest in science, you have an interest in one domain or in one subject, but you could not study that for whatever the reasons may be. Okay, but the beauty is you can still come back to study the science subject. So I give you the nice example of is a subject called sociology. Okay, sociology is a subject which has got everything in it. It has got not only humanities, it has got science component in it, deep science is there in it. And the beauty is, if you have pursued sociology, you can again come back and commit yourself to the interest of science by bringing your new expertise as a sociologist. Okay, so let me put this example. In this COVID, the example I'll give it is with the COVID, because we are talking about COVID now and then. So for example, in this COVID world, it is important to understand how different groups of people are tackling or responding to the uh, COVID scenario. How elderly people are responding to the COVID scenario. As a sociologist, you build a bridge between the doctors, the healthcare professionals, the scientists, and you take all of them together to actually develop framework and ideas so that critical questions that can help and improve the life of aged people or different groups within our country, so that they can be tackled and they can be made safe from the COVID infection. So it's a nice example where you pursued a non-science subject and ultimately got back to science. Now I'll give you a fantastic example. An example where you have studied a subject called excuse me, fashion science. Okay. In fashion science, understanding fabric is a very important component. Do you know how important fabric is in today's world? Fabric is not just restricted to dresses. Fabric is now the basis of biomedical sciences. For healing of wound, for treating diseases, fabric is the basis. So you can study fashion science, fashion technology, and ultimately look at a component within that fashion science, fashion technology, which is a fabric, the science of fabric. And you can then join hands with biomedical scientists, doctors, engineers, other healthcare professionals, other basic scientists, and develop solutions that can be used to treat diseases such as wound, infection, etc., etc. So you can see very nicely how this can be pursued. You know, in India, there are dedicated courses are there to pursue. PhD is there in fabric science and technology, where you can incorporate ideas of biomedical sciences and actually you end up going back to the core basic science, from starting from fabric science or fabric technology to that domain. So this is a nice example where we see that the scope is enormous. Now what I'll do is I'll give another example from a non-science perspective. That suppose you are pursuing a subject where science component is not there. You know, there is a subject is there called linguistics, understanding the science of language. In linguistics, actually there is plenty of mathematics is there. So this is a fantastic example where you end up studying more science than you thought it is, and it is, you know, incredibly interesting. Huge opportunity is there in this subject and domain. How many of you have heard of a subject called library science? This is a new domain. This subject has been around for a long time, but this domain has been undergoing massive changes thanks to a terminology that all of you have heard about called artificial intelligence. Library science is now joining hands with artificial intelligence to actually transform the way how we look at information sharing in this digital world that we live in. And you know, the linking ultimately becomes so interdisciplinary that you get to end up with actually, you know, collaborating, talking with bunch of people who are coming from different backgrounds. So I think this is a great subject, a great subject with huge opportunity. Now, last 2 minutes or 3 minutes, I'm going to talk about very important, like the other points is, you know, when you're studying biology, biology is no more just biology, but actually it is interdisciplinary science. When you're talking about biology, you have to have an understanding, you have to incorporate physics in biology, chemistry in biology, maths in biology, sociology in biology, fabric science in biology, artificial intelligence in biology. So it's no more biology. You can't say that I'm a biologist and I only know biology. No, you have to have some understanding of all the domains in some form or other. So for example, I give you an example. For we have been working for quite some time now. What happens is many elderly people, when they fall ill, they get admitted to hospital. And many times what happens is, unfortunately, they lose their life because of infection. Okay, so they got admitted to hospital because of certain other reason, but they passed away because of infection. And that infection happens due to the hospital environment. So we we have joined hands with bunch of medical professionals, health professionals. We as scientists are now developing drugs that can be used to actually stop or limit the infection that can attack and that can cause serious fatalities in aged patients. So this is one example where we have teamed up with people of different profession, also with fabric scientists, because we want that drug to be put it in a fabric layer, and that fabric layer will be there in the bed in which the patient will lay. Uh, so you have to think beyond as a biologist. You know, there is one area is there called climate science. Okay, as a climate scientist, you have to have an understanding of physics, biology, chemistry, geology. The geology is a fantastic subject where everything is required, as I mentioned before. And biology in geology is very important. And a branch of geology is there called earth science, where biology is a very important and a critical component. So I think the point I'm trying to make to you is to pursue your dreams. Basic science offer huge opportunities. You can also pursue your dreams by starting with non-science subjects and come back to basic science in some form or other. And it will end up that you will lead the team, lead the bunch of people who are coming from different scientific and non-scientific background. And the last point I made is that you can pursue your profession in biology, but it need not be any more confined. You have to have a wholesome approach of different domains to pursue the basic to pursue the career. And I end up with the last example where I give my own experience of the last one. Very recently we were called in the when COVID was in full force. We were called to deal with a national emergency somewhere in some part of India. And when we started to work as a biologist, we started to also address the questions related to the people who are living in that area, because they're facing a national emergency there. And then we had to learn or self-taught ourselves, the understanding of social science, sociology, to address the questions, because until and unless we could have communicated with the local people, we could not have tackled the problem of the national emergency, which is largely abiological to biological in nature. So a great example, at some point everything mixes with each other, and you start to interact with people. Opportunities are enormous, scopes are enormous, and as an entrepreneur also the opportunities and scopes are enormous. So I just gave you a perspective, a slightly broader perspective. I would welcome now any comment, question, anything that you have in mind, and I'd be happy to answer those. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Bhaduri. So let me tell you, students, now whatever Bhaduri told, okay? So for your betterment, what are in your mind? That's very important. Theoretical approach, something different. But in what way you are going to proceed means, as he told, there is inspiration fellowship, or there can be integrated PhD, or you can pursue career in BSc, MSc, then different companies. Immense number of domains. So in what way you can proceed? Ask him, and don't write only, ask him the question. Sometimes he may skip the chat box. So one by one, you can unmute your microphone and you can ask. Thank you. Over to you people.
Okay, so I think Aditya Rai has a question. Sir, how can one study quantum biology in India? Quantum biology in India is offered in IITs. For example, in IIT Bombay, in IIT Jodhpur, also in IIT Delhi. So you can look at the IIT Delhi, Jodhpur, and Bombay website, and you will see the scopes and opportunities quantum biology is offer. At the research scale, obviously, quantum biology is done in many leading institutions of this country. For example, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, National Center for Biological Sciences in Bangalore, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research in Bangalore, even in Indian Association for the Cultivation of Sciences in Kolkata. Shoumili Goswami asked a question, sir, does biotech require mathematics? Mathematics is not compulsory, but if you have mathematics, it helps. Okay, so let me put it in this way. If you are studying BSc in biotechnology, mathematics may not be compulsory. But if you are studying BTech in biotechnology, mathematics may be compulsory. But at some point of time, you have to do a bit of mathematics. Otherwise, biotechnology is incomplete without mathematics. Niti Rai asked a question, is it a good option to pursue BSc in forensic science after 12? Absolutely yes. Forensic science is one domain where the opportunity is very huge. And I can give you a fantastic example. In my research group, I have a very energetic young PhD researcher who has joined, who did his studies in forensic science and now working with me to understand how diabetes in Indian population can be mapped by looking at the human gut microbiome. Here, the young researcher has come from a background of forensic science. There are a lot of institutes in this country which offer BSc in forensic science. Rohan Datta, can we combine robotics to biology? Absolutely yes, Rohan, I agree. And actually, BSc in biomedical sciences is a fantastic example where there is dedicated components is there on robotics and biomedical sciences. You can see now many of the surgery that happens, the very complicated surgery actually involves robotics and instrumentation. So robotics can be combined with biology. Aditya Rai, how can I know I am eligible for Inspire scholarship? Aditya, please go to Google and type Inspire, and it will take you to the Inspire website where link is there and eligibility. If there is any doubt, feel free to write an email to me or to call me, and I'll be able to answer that. Uh, Doipayan Mandal, what is the scope of genetic engineering in India? Doipayan, the scope is huge. You look at, you're sitting in 21st century or in this century. I think, the greatest example is the COVID. We are, lot of scientists in this country are trying to understand in India what are the different types of COVID mutants are developing and how that is going to affect the healthcare, and in the long run how can tackle COVID, because vaccine, if you want to develop, you want it to work in all individuals, not in some. So genetic engineering, it plays a very, very important role. The other example is genetic engineering can be used to address societal problem. For example, you can see many of the rivers are polluted, or there are landfills are there where a lot of dumping of waste material happens. Biomedical waste. I think genetic engineering plays a very, very important role. Genetic engineering plays a critical role in health science, improving the health of of us. So I think there is huge scope of it in this country, and a lot of institutions offer courses in genetic engineering. Mohar Bhattacharya, how to study biotech and pursue a career? Mohar, to answer your question, very straightforward. If you get into engineering, you can do BTech biotechnology. Obviously, there are institutions are there. But if you don't, if you're not in engineering, you can study BSc biotechnology directly, or you can study BSc biology, and then you can crack the DBT biotechnology exam and pursue MSc in biotechnology in any leading institution of this country, you will get a scholarship. And the career is, opportunities are huge, absolutely huge. I think it cannot be scaled. The more you study, the more you perform, you have to excel. You will see that as a biotechnologist, you can get an opportunity to work in different institutions of this country, in different organizations. I can name few example of them: Dr. Reddy's, Pfizer, Reliance, ITC Agro, Tata Innovations, uh, uh, Lupin. So there are many big organizations where these opportunities are there. uh, Aditya Rai question: what is the prospect of studying exobiology? Well, exobiology, there is no dedicated course in exobiology, but in PhD you can pursue exobiology. So this is more like an advanced level research. Obviously, some institutions in this country offer. Ayuka in Pune offers courses in exobiology. Uh, Anandi Sharma, sir, what are the scopes in food science and nutrition? Anandi, I think this is one domain, the scope is huge. Food science and nutrition has huge opportunity. Actually, in food science, there's a component is there, food microbiology or food health, which is linked to the food nutrition and food science. I think if you look at it, any health institution of this country has to have a nutritionist. Okay, so nutrition is offered as a BSc course in this country in many institutions. MSc nutrition is there, and food science is another subject which is also offered nowadays as a course, full-fledged course. Hyderabad University offers it as a full-fledged course, for example. Then many leading private universities of this country offers food science as a course. So I think scopes are huge. Uh, Suparna Das, can you explain a brief about nutritionalist? I think I did quite a bit. Any health professional in any health institutions, hospital, organizations which offer health solutions, nutritionalist is a must, because until and unless food intake is appropriate, a disease cannot be tackled just by giving drugs or just by doing surgery. So proper diet, proper nutrition is is a component. Rudra Palash, sir, many times we have heard that students are doing MBBS from abroad. As we know, in India, we have to crack AIMS or NEET for doing MBBS. So what are the exams for studying or doing MBBS from abroad? I think MBBS from abroad, actually, there are country-specific rules are there. In many countries are offered it. I know in Europe, some institutions offer, in some European countries, they have specific rules. I think if you're past your 10+2, you have to get some marks, have to meet some criteria, and then institution specific country, they have their own entrance to do it. So you can check the websites and you will find a lot of information. And I want to let you know, once you get that degree from, and if you want to come back to country, you have to pass an exam which will allow you to practice medicine. Medical Council of India actually conducts that exam. Anushka Ghosh, sir, how can I pursue metallurgy? Well, it's a very good question. Metallurgy can be pursued as an engineering subject. There's a subject is there called metallurgical engineering. In Jadavpur University, in many of the IITs, in Indian School of Mines, Dhanbad, in Institute of Technology in Banaras Indian University offers this. But besides that, you can take up a subject, let's say basic science subject as geology, and you can end up studying metallurgy and metallurgical sciences in your master's and your PhD from Indian School of Mines, Dhanbad, even in our institution like IISER Kolkata, even in institutions such as in the IITs like IIT Kharagpur offers it, IIT Gandhinagar offers it, IIT Bombay has it. Mohar Bhattacharya, will you please give an idea of how to pursue a career in fashion science if one wants to? Obviously, Mohar, there are institutions which offer courses in fashion science and technology. There is an all India exam is there, which gives you which gives an opportunity to join the premier fashion science institution of this country. It is known as National Institute of Fashion Technology, NIFT, and that exam happens every year. If you crack that exam, you study the NIFT, you get a scholarship also in some cases. but there are a lot of institutions and universities in this country which offer fashion science and fashion technology as a course. So you can study that, and obviously opportunities are enormous. Many of the fabric industries, many of the industries which are involved in making fibers, rayon, cotton, mixed cotton, for example, Arvind, you have heard brands like Peter England and others, Bombay Dyeing and others. All of these have to have a personnel, have a dedicated team of fashion scientists or fashion technologists. Uh, Niti Rai, any other career in forensic science excluding research field? Of course, there is career. Once you have studied BSc, MSc in forensic science, the opportunities, all the institutions, government institution which is involved in controlling crime, maintaining law and order, they have to have forensic scientists. So there is huge opportunities there. There are central forensic institutes in this country where you can join as a scientist after pursuing MSc. So the opportunity is huge. National Intelligence Agency, NIA, they recruit a large number of forensic scientists every year. Orunangshu Ghosh, what is the possibility we can create life artificially? Orunangshu, some of the leading scientists globally have been working for 50, 60 years to create life artificially. I mean, there has been success. The best example is stem cell research. You can see stem cell research is a great example. Now we can make organ, in lab, and we can transplant those organ into human systems. So actually that is life. We can now do genetic engineering to treat debilitating diseases. In a small child, we can do genetic engineering to treat genetic disorders. So I think, this is going on. And if you mean complexity of life, well, successes are happening. The best example is if you go and search in Google, there's a scientist is there called Craig Venter. I've just typed it in the chat box, so you can look at the name, and he has created life, a simple bacterial cell in the lab. Deep Mondal, is paranormal activity a part of biology? How can you study about it? Well, you cannot study paranormal as a subject or as an entity separately, but in paranormal also there are components that they are, psychology is a subject which is linked very well to paranormal world. Sociology is also to a large extent. Actually, in the field of biomedical sciences, there is an area is there called cognitive science. Okay, where paranormal is paranormal activity or paranormal is a component that is being looked into. So paranormal activity in itself is not being pursued or not being offered. Doipan Mondal, I can give you some names. You can write to me, you can email me, and I'll give you the names. Rohan Datta, what are the different scopes of microbiology? Huge scopes, enormous scopes are there. You can set up companies, you can pursue your ideas, you can clean the environment, you can develop solutions for improving potable water, drinking water, waste breakdown, you can tackle infectious diseases. So I think huge opportunity. Muskan Mandal, what will be the time span to study biotech after BSc in biology? Well, if you are doing MSc in biotechnology, it is 2 years. So that's what it is. Shantanu Datta, can you once discuss in brief about astrobiology? Well, exobiology, astrobiology, I mean, there is huge scope is there. In Ayuka, actually in Pune, astrobiology is studied separately. It is thought, there is so much interest is there in Martian origin of life, whether other planetary systems have life or not, whether other intelligent people, individuals who are more intelligent than us are there in other planetary science or not, whether ancient microbes are there in other planets or not. These are all the basis of astrobiology, and a lot of work is going on, for long time. I think in India also now ISRO has been doing a lot of work on it. DRDO, Defense Research Development Organization, has been doing a lot of work on it. Obviously, at the global scale, NASA has been in United States of America has been working on it. Pritam Ghosh, Acha, Saikat Rai, what are scopes in microbiology? I think I talked about it. Pritam Ghosh, do we need to have unique plans to be an entrepreneur? No, you have to have a plan that will is a plan has two components. A plan has to be there that is feasible, that means that can be executed, and how that plan actually helps the society. So for example, you have a plan to develop a product, and let's say that product can be offered to the society, anybody can purchase in 20 rupees, okay, and versus a product that can be purchased in 1000 rupees. So obviously people will go for 20 rupees one because it's cheap and it serves the same purpose. So I think the plan has to be feasible and the plan has to serve the society in some form or other. Shomili Ghosh, can you explain about virology? Well, virology scope is enormous. I mean, even before the COVID, virus has been is around for long time. I mean, all around us there are viral particles are there. Many agriculture plants suffer from viral infections. Many of the that we don't talk about. So and then we also suffer from many viral problems. Influenza virus is a nice example which happens to us from time to time, and the biggest viral issue is HIV, for example, or then human papilloma virus. So I think virus research has been going on for a long time globally in India and abroad. A lot of vaccines are there, and I think now COVID is a disease because of this virus called SARS-CoV-2. This virus is a very unique type which is causing a lot of problems, so much more attention is now going into virology. Please understand, virology is also a component of the broad component of microbiology. Chandrima Sarkar, if you take agriculture in higher studies, what are things that you have to study? Yes, Chandrima, agriculture is offered as a subject. BSc agriculture is there. Many agricultural institutions are there in this country. In Bengal, there are at least 3 agricultural universities are there. The famous one being the Bridhan Chandra Krishi Vidyalaya, which is not far from where your school is, in Mohanpur, Nodia. You after 10+2, you have to sit for an exam. It's an all India exam that will give you an opportunity to crack and pursue BSc agriculture. Besides, there are some universities which offer agriculture as a subject separately, and there are entrance exams are there. You can study BSc agriculture and then obviously you can get jobs. Lot of organization institutions are there which cater the agriculture community, because India is largely agriculture dependent. India's GDP, the domestic growth, is dependent on agriculture. So a lot of industries are catered to our farmers, to the agriculture, to yield production, to increase the production. So scope is huge on that. What subjects for astrobiology? Shomili asked. Well, you can study microbiology, you can study chemistry, physics, mathematics, and all of this will meet up at one point in astrobiology. Muskan, is it ever possible to trace out the memory of a dead person, the incident that took place just before the person died? Well, that's what it is. Cognitive sciences. Brain is very complex. Brain mapping has been going on for a long time, and I think it is people are trying to understand. I think it's very difficult to answer this question. Mohar Bhattacharya, what are the subjects one need for microbiology, and how one can be an entrepreneur in that field? Subjects in the sense, you can study BSc microbiology. Okay, to study BSc microbiology, you have to have biology in your 10+2 level, and I think some institutions also require chemistry. So if you have biology and chemistry, you can get admitted into BSc microbiology, but you can also do BSc in biology and then do MSc in microbiology. So that is also a possibility. And entrepreneur in that field, you have to have innovative thinking. If you're talking about entrepreneur as a microbiologist, well, if you can think of a problem that you see every day that microbes can solve, and that problem, if you have a feasible idea, you can present it in front of a committee, and if they think your idea makes sense, it can be transformed, it can transform the society, it can address the problem, then you will get support from the government to pursue that. Debad, okay. Rohan Datta, human body contain any kind of internal energy or paranormal energy? Well, energy is of course there, otherwise human body would not function. Any living entity would not function. ATP is the best example of that. Paranormal energy, I don't know, but many individuals actually have a sense, and they can tell things which turns out to be true. So I think their sensory system, their cognition and brain works far superior than most of us. So I think we can use a different terminology to actually say that. Devaditya, after studying biochemistry, can anyone be entrepreneur in pharmaceutical industry? Well, I mean, it depends. Starting biochemistry and then pharmacy is a different thing. You can study a subject called pharmacy. B Pharm is there. Obviously, you have to qualify crack some exam, but some institutions offer B Pharm directly. And to set up a pharmaceutical industry is not an easy task. It requires a lot of compliances. But rather, you can study pharmacy or study biochemistry and then join a pharmaceutical company and pursue your dream. And in India, India has the largest number of pharmaceutical companies globally, and India supplies cheapest medicine globally. Everything is the cheapest here. So we have all the talent to do it. Can we use 100% of our brain if possible by any chemical drug or by any technology? I can't answer that question, Arunangshu, but I can tell you our brain, we control it. The way we want it, it will work. Very simple. I missed two questions. Rohan Datta, does anything like telepathy, telekinesis, etc. exist? Many people say it does exist. I said to you, in some individuals, the brain works much faster. They can tell things, they can do things much faster. Think there are many individuals who can write with left hand and right hand. So their brain is working much faster. So it's a cognition. Ishan Poddar, is mathematics required for giving the exam of agriculture? Not necessarily. It depends what is the subject you want to study. For example, BSc agriculture, mathematics is not required, but BSc agronomy, mathematics is required. Shomili Goswami asks, explain about clinical project manager. Well, the role of a clinical project manager is to liaise with medical professionals, pharmaceutical people, general health professionals, non-health entities, and bring them together and liaise them so that they can work in tandem to address or to tackle complex questions. So here in this case, let's say this COVID world, you are seeing a lot of people are getting infected and admitted with serious COVID implications. So clinical manager actually works and bring all the expertise together and uses the knowledge and directs them so that these complex issues can be tackled. Aditya Rai, is the new education policy going to affect the research system or how one applies for a job? I think what it seems, the new education policy is a new experimentation, and I think this change was required. I believe anything even with the new education policy, the way it is being designed, it is going to improve the chances of getting jobs. It is going to improve the chances of how you pursue your career, including in basic sciences. So I think the opportunities are huge. So if
Okay, Professor Bhaduri, I'm just interrupting once. Should we wind up the meeting or we would like to continue? Students are feeling very good. I can understand.
If students if students have question, I can answer, or if you want, we can wind up. Up to you.
Okay, so let more 5 questions. Aditya, Arunangshu's question, and then if you are having query, you can ask. You are very much welcome, students. Or you can, after those 5 questions, still I know you are having eager mind and so many questions. So you can ask him with his email ID. So Professor, please answer these questions. Then we can wind up.
Thank you. Arunangshu said that it is said we common people use 10% of our brain. So, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, we don't utilize, we don't optimize the capacity of our brain to the level it should be. And there are ways to do it. We have to see, you have to add stimuli to your brain to work. The more you work, your brain actually works faster. You see, brain, there are neurons are there, right? They're connected, right? And you have chemical signals that are passing through, electrical signals that are passing through. How fast you want to do it, that those signals are going to make you do it. So I think, according to me, self-inducing is the best way to do things. You yourself motivate. Obviously, there are drugs, there are medicines that can help you do it. But I think it's a self-induction process. And obviously, people who use 50% of the brain or 60% of the brain, they are the ones who are ahead they perform very well. Who are using 10% of the brain, they may not be. I think it's a uh, uh, by putting an external stimuli, can we accelerate the activity of the brain? I mean, it is possible, but it requires a lot of effort, time, resources, but actually many cases we can do it ourselves, I would say.
Okay, so thank you, Professor Bhaduri. Here I am going to wind up the meeting as for sharing your valuable time and thought. We are really thankful to you. And I hope that all the students listening this webinar get encouraged. Now, I want one very important thing from the students who are staying here right now. Okay, listen carefully. Whatever your feedback, send me personally. About your future, we teachers are thinking. Now, what you are thinking about this kind of webinar? Send me your personal views genuinely. Genuinely send it to me, okay? And then we can arrange more with Professor Bhaduri or with other professors. We can. Sir is there, means other teachers are there. If they can share anything, most welcome. And Professor Bhaduri, I'm really happy. I'm very glad that you came here. Lots of thanks, because I know that in what way you work. I got that opportunity to know, to work in your lab, and I really cherished that. So thank you, Professor Bhaduri. Thank you, my beloved students. Over to you.
Thank you.
Anything
Thank
more?
you very much.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Vidita. Thank you,
Okay,
everybody.
okay.
Thanks a lot.
So goodbye, all of you. Thank you.